I'm Mike Frangenberg, and for my demonstration speech, I have chose to do freehand pinstriping. My first experience with freehand pinstriping was when I was just a little kid. My dad started driving truck, and he had bought a new truck, and when he brought it back to the shop, he had to have the lettering guy come and paint the company's name on the doors. He had me down at the shop with him that day, and I sat down in a chair and watched the lettering guy for a couple of hours. Probably drove him nuts asking him questions the whole time, but I was just mesmerized by how he was painting all that stuff on my dad's truck. When I get into the doing the pinstriping, there are several different kinds of pinstriping brushes that you can use. Steve Kafka has a design of his own that he likes to use, and that's kind of this style right here. The nice thing about these pinstriping brushes here is that if you need to do any tight curves or any kind of turning work, you can just turn the brush and paint your corners like that. That's the nice thing about those. The type of paintbrush that I used for my panel that I did for my speech, it's called a Mac brush. It's actually a sword striper, Mac sword striper. It's a number 1, and these work really nice. They hold a lot of paint. They pull a really nice line. But the only drawback to these is when you have to make a curve or an intricate line, you actually have to kind of turn your wrist and pull to pull the line. They also make different types of brushes beside what I showed you there. They have a dagger brush for really small designs and thin lines. They have broad liners for wider lines, and they have molding brushes for the super wide lines. The type of paint that I used for my panel is called Sign Painter's One Shot. It's a lettering enamel, and that's kind of what the can looks like there. This one here is fire red. The other color that I used on my design was just plain white. Nice thing about those is they're very durable. They're pretty forgiving while you're painting. Easy to wipe off if you get to it right away. The other thing that you can add to it, there's different additives that you can put in. That paint there being enamel, the best thing to use on that is mineral spirits for doing the designs. Helps to thin it out, helps you to pull a better line with your brushes. When you go to load your paintbrush up, you'll take and dip it right in the can. You can't just dip it and go. You'll actually have to get little pieces of paper similar to like note cards, and you'll dip it in the can, and then you'll pull it up and down on the paper to load up the inside of the paintbrush, so that way you can get a lot of paint in there to pull a good line and be able to manage it the way that you want to. Also, when you're doing that, sometimes you'll run out as you're pulling the line. The easiest thing to do is just go back to your paper, load some more paint in it, and then come back and pick up right about where you left off, just a little bit further, where you go back over it again, and then you go ahead and pull your line down. So when I paint the panel, I start off with just a plain panel. This one's a carbon fiber old panel that I had laying around from an old job that I did. So I take that, and then I will use a white, it's a special Stabilo pencil. It wipes off really nice, and I'll just kind of freehand a design on, just kind of get a rough idea. Some painters will actually draw out a 1-inch square grid system on the panel so they can have a easier time of freehanding it and having an even symmetrical picture when they're said and done. I did just kind of a simple scroll design. A lot of the times you'll just want to start in the center and kind of work your way down and around as you need to. So in conclusion, there's really no limits to how crazy you can get or how simple that you want to keep your panels. And the panel that I painted for time reasons on here, that's the finished product right there, what I did with those paintbrushes. This one here took me probably about a half an hour to paint, I suppose. And my sources are Alan Johnson, How to Pinstripe from 2007, and Timothy Remus, Advanced Pinstripe Art 2006. Thank you.